All right. Hey, how's it, everybody? It is 5 p.m. West Coast time, 2 p.m. Hawaii time, 8 p.m. on the East Coast, and 7 p.m. for our Central Time folks. I am Mad Statter. This is Chatter with Statter, and I hope everyone's had a great weekend so far. So far, this weekend for me has been a little bit topsy-turvy, I have to say, but super stoked that I am here to join all y'all, including Kenny from the Cove, hanging out in the Statter Box. Andre as well. Good to see you both. All right, so now that we've got a couple people in the house, why don't we get this party started? All right, we have got way more than just a couple people in the house. We've got Bacola Tea and we've got eMusic hanging out as well. All right, so happy to see you guys. Had to skip the Wednesday show because, as it turns out, I was really sick this week. I was super sick this week. Did not expect to have the sickness, but I was down with the sickness. And it is not the sickness that you would think. No, I managed to go through my Hawaii trip pretty safe. Did the masks when I needed to and everything. I didn't get the COVID during my Hawaii trip. I didn't even get the COVID so far, knock wood, when I came back from the Hawaii trip. But what I did do, was I gave belly rubs to a cute kitten. Look at that cute kitten. Look at that kitty. He's just so cute. And there he is in my cupboard, in my house. That's right. He's in my laundry room on my towels, looking all confused about what I was doing when he was sleeping in my house. Yeah, that's the kitty. I was giving him belly rubs. And lo and behold, boom, 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 the night before the 4th, during a particularly lovely deep belly rub, somebody let off a firework, and he attacked my pinky. Boy, oh boy, did he attack my pinky. I mean, he got me. I've got pictures of it. Now, for those of you who don't like gore, don't worry, these pictures actually are not that bad, but I'm about to show you the pictures, and so, I am just giving you fair warning, but quite honestly, there's literally no blood. There's no open wound. You'll be able to see like, oh yeah, he got ya. But like, it's actually, the pictures are really not that bad. But on the off chance that you're like, oh my God, no, I'm giving you a fair warning. And I'm about to show you the picture, and then I will, let you know when the pictures are done as well, if you have to close your eyes. But, so showing the picture right now. And that was the bite. This was about an hour after he attacked me, right? And so that little wound that is the biggest of the 3 that you can kind of see, that one obviously was the meanest one. But the one that is giving me the worst trouble is one that you cannot see. So that's the front part of the finger bite, and then the back part of the finger bite was this nasty puncture wound. I was very worried about that puncture wound, but actually that little puncture wound healed up the finest. Now we're going back to the first picture. I know you guys, we're almost done with this. But okay, so you know you see the little biggest gash? So like if you go directly underneath the biggest gash to a tiny little red dot that you quite literally cannot even see in this picture, I didn't even know that I had another cut on my finger. And it wasn't until all these cuts healed up that this other little red dot, okay, pictures are done now, that this other little red dot like showed up, and gall dung it, that is where the infection is still festering, because all of the other wounds I tried to keep open so they could, do the thing. But this wound didn't even show itself as a wound until like days upon days upon days into treatment. And suddenly this little red dot showed up and I was like, well, where did you come from? And so I sort of picked at it because I wanted to open it to like let it drain. And then when it opened, it was like a volcano. And that is, you can see, well, maybe you can't, but I've got a little Band-Aid on right now. And that is actually the one place that is still hurting 7 days into my antibiotic treatment. My hand was like swollen to like twice its size this week. And literally the night that it happened, I actually woke up in the middle of the night thinking I was going to throw up. Like, I felt so nauseous. I didn't even associate it with the cat bite. I just woke up not feeling good. I thought it was weird. Went back to sleep. Anyway, so the next Monday, went to the urgent care, so holiday, the holiday, I'm in urgent care, getting all sorts of, antibiotics and pills and creams and stuffs. And, so I'm used to, once you start taking your antibiotics, like, things are fine. Dude, my hand was still swollen on Wednesday a little bit, but I was honestly stupid, tired, fatigued, just under the weather until Thursday. It wasn't until Thursday when I felt human again that I realized just how not human I had been feeling the entire week. And so I gotta say, man, A, thank goodness for antibiotics, and B, I think that cat would have killed me if I hadn't gotten the antibiotics. I mean, honestly, I have never had a wound that festered like that. I mean, or is still festering. Honestly, I think I'm going to call my doctor and say, after the 10 days of antibiotics, do you think I should maybe take some more? Because I kind of feel like it's 7 days in and it still hurts. So, we'll see what the doctor says, but I'm at least not cloudy headed like I was on Wednesday. Wednesday, I was stupid. So it's a gosh darn good thing that we did not have a chatter with statter on Wednesday, because I just would have been staring at the screen going, Durr. I had nothing to say. I just wanted to sleep, basically. So very excited that you guys remembered to come back, because Lord knows, after a week break or with the vacation and then getting all sick and stuff, it's like, can you even count on statter anymore? I don't know. It seems like not. And Pacola T, puncture wounds are so painful. Yeah. But the puncture wound, I was worried about the puncture wound to a degree. And so I spent a lot of time milking it, to make sure that all the stuff bled out or whatever. But the puncture wound actually was a very clean, it went deep, but it was a clean one, It was the one on the front of my pinky where I watched him do it too. He dug in and it was like not only was it a dirty wound because of the bacteria, it was like a dirty wound because it was just a jagged cut, and pardon me for getting so graphic and gross, but I'm telling you guys, as Andre just said, infection is no joke. I'm telling you, dude. I know, Pacola T, death by cat bite, way to go. You'd think that it'd be the greatest way to go, but I gotta tell you, man, it was very painful. So I'm not so sure that it's the way to go. That is for sure. And so let's see here. Andre said, you dodged COVID for this long and you got to take a trip to Seattle. Clean before clean, after only get it the second week back, catch it from a friend. Right. Yeah, that's right, Andre. You did get COVID after you came back from Seattle, and it wasn't it wasn't even Seattle's fault. It is everywhere, you guys. I had some friends go to Maui the week before I went to Oahu, and on the flight home, my friend, she started to feel like, ugh. Her husband never felt bad at all, but because she was so sick, she obviously tested for COVID. She tested positive. Her husband, who didn't have any symptoms, also tested positive for COVID. So what that says to me is, had she not gotten sick, he wouldn't have known that he was sick, and he would have been traveling all around town thinking he was fine, and then he would have been passing it along. So clearly we've got some asymptomatic cases going out here. I happen to know somebody who had one, and so it's so tempting just to not, mask fatigue. Come on, you guys, it's so real, right? I mean, it's the summertime. You don't want to wear that hot mask on your face. After 2 years of not being in public, it's nice to maybe go out for a flippin' drink or go out for dinner or whatever. And as much as I'm telling all these words that are coming out of my mouth, like directed at you guys, are actually directed 3 fingers back at me. It's just, you have to remember, you got to flippin' flirpin'. Treat the COVID like the COVID's still around, because the COVID is still around. And let's see here, Pacola T, you had a great cruise. You brought back too many calories and COVID. Oh no, you got the COVID. Shucks, dude, you've done so much traveling the last couple years and you've been super safe. And lo and behold, that cruise did you in. That is a bummer, dude. I'm glad that you're on the antivirals. My friend who got COVID on Maui got the antivirals, and it really helped. But you've got a rash on your face and hands and feet, and it's hideous, I'm sure. And I understand, Monster. I had actually something get in my eye earlier this week that caused a monster face, which was part of the reason why I didn't want to go on camera on Wednesday as well. Yeah, but I didn't know that COVID had a rash. That is so weird, but it looks like, switching gears completely. Hey, Anwar, good to see you. We are lamenting the COVID situation, and apparently Pacola T got COVID and she got a rash, and I'm assuming they're maybe related, maybe not. I don't know. All I know is I don't like rashes and I don't want to get COVID. So let's see here. Andre, you're saying you're waiting out the 7 days not to be a spreader. You're getting bored in the house because it's a mild case. Well, just, watch Netflix and, watch all of Hulu and all of Netflix, I guess, my friend. That's all I can tell you. And let's see here. It's good to know, though, that Andre and Pacola T are both, being bored at home, masking, distancing. I know it sucks, you guys, but the community cares about you and the community cares about other people. So I'm so glad you're part of the community that cares. So, oh, good. Only 2 more days, Andre. Excellent. Only 2 more days. Awesome. Oh, okay. So, Andre, you're saying the taste thing's a bit annoying. Some things just don't taste good. Well, I guess that makes sense. I've heard that it does seem the loss of taste does seem to be a symptom that almost everybody seems to have, if they're symptomatic at all. Unfortunately, I still have my sense of taste. In fact, well, you know what? That's not true. I don't have any sense of taste, because here's the deal. I went to Jack in the Box today and I got some of their tacos and they kind of tasted good, which actually might mean that I have a serious problem, because when do Jack in the Box tacos ever taste good? Well, today, they tasted kind of good today, at least to me. So, oh, Pacola T, your fever only broke yesterday, so another 5 days. Oh, bummer. But, hey, at least, Pacola T, you're in paradise being sick, right? It's better than being stuck and isolated on the cruise. I mean, imagine not being able to even leave your room on the cruise ship. That would suck. And Anne, oh, good. I'm glad that you thought I'm glad you got that joke, Anne. I thought that was kind of funny. So, let's see here. Andre, the guy you got it from could not taste coffee, but you meat and savory stuff just taste a bit off. Interesting. Well, you could always just go do the ultimate, taste test and go get some Jack in the Box tacos. If they taste good, I might have COVID. Okay, I'm cracking myself up here. Sorry about that, guys. All right, so now I don't know that I think most of you guys here have heard this story before, but I don't think Kenny has. Maybe Kenny has not. Maybe Kenny has. But Kenny, I went to Oahu, as I think you know, and I did a thing. I went and I found the one and the only dumpster. So I took a great picture of it so you can put that in your advertisements for the weren't you the one, I think, who was coordinating all of the wedding parties that were going to go around the dumpster? So here is a picture I took of the dumpster so you could add that to your brochure. Add it to your brochure, and so everyone knows just what they're getting into. And so after I went and found this wonderful dumpster, I drove up and down Gulick, and I ended up chasing some rainbows, and I think there's a rainbow right there. Yeah, and so I went and I found some rainbows, and then when I found the rainbows, I stumbled upon this super awesome park in the middle of Honolulu. Like I said, most of you guys have already heard this, but I'm sharing this with Kenny because I think he might have missed this episode. So I found a little spring in the middle of Honolulu. It's a freshwater spring. It's part of a sacred. It was part of a sacred healing place back in the days of the Ali'i, and Photo Luke has actually done an episode at this particular park. Photo Luke has specifically asked people not to say where it is. So if you happen to know where it is, you know where it is. But if you don't know where it is, well, you don't know where it is. But here's pictures of it. And the coolest thing about this little park, I thought, was, well, actually, there's a bunch of different things that I thought was cool. But the trees up above, like this was this was the tree canopy, and I took a bunch of pictures of the tree canopy, but this is probably one of my favorite ones. And this tree basically covered, or this set of trees, excuse me, basically covered like half of the park, and it was just delightful. I spent more time, I think, at this park than I spent at any other park, other than Kualoa Regional Park. That was the park I spent the most time at, I guess. But one of the things that I really liked about the this particular park was, now I'm going to see if I can find, here we go. This is the video that I took at this park. This is the first video that I showed you guys from my Hawaii trip. So you guys might have seen it, but I don't care. I'm going to show it again because it's cute. All right, so that was my little chicken video, and I love it so much. And I don't know what that tree was with the fruit hanging at the top right of the video. I was wondering that myself, actually, when I was there. It was very prolific, whatever it was, but I do not know. But gosh, you know what, Pokolati, you really nailed it right there. Such a healing, comforting image. You must have deep infant memories lying under trees just like that. Yeah, I have to say, just looking up into the canopy like that was such a soothing sight. I couldn't I could not take pictures of it. And actually, I've got a similar picture of that, only it's taken in portrait mode instead of landscape, and I use it as my let's see if I can show you. I use it as my hold on there. I use it as my cell phone thing, but I don't think that's a very good. All right, it looks super cool, just trust me, okay? It looks way better than what you see there. So let's see here, Andre, you want a t-shirt with the new "Do Not Feed Chicken" sign they put up in Honolulu? You love the picture of the rooster with the lightning coming out of its mouth? I don't know. I didn't see any of those pictures, or those signs, actually, so I don't know what picture you're talking about. But I want to see, so I'm going to write it down so I can remember. Rooster with lightning. No feed chicken. All right, cool. I'm going to Google that later on. Let's see here. They just put them up. Yeah, well, and who knows? They might have already been up when I was there. I mean, I was just there, but I actually wasn't spending a lot of time reading the signs in the park. I was doing other things and stuff, but yeah, that would be a cute t-shirt. It sounds like it's got a really cool graphic. So, you know, anything with a really cool graphic, there you go. Let's see here. Oh, speaking of the Hawaii trip, you might have noticed I've got a new set of randomness behind me, and that new set of randomness will be adjusted. However, I totally ran out of time today, and if you guys were watching, if you guys happen to come in at the beginning of Statterbox at the cinema last night, you'll know that I had a technical issue that I went to fix, and in fixing my technical issue, well, the entire backdrop behind my head came falling down, and everything got all in a kerfuffle, and Michi Mama outright said, I had to laugh at you for that, and frankly, I was glad that she laughed at me, because how could you not laugh? I would have laughed had I watched it happen. So everything was all in a kerfuffle anyway, and the last stream that I have done for Chatter with Statter was the year-long stream, so I figured maybe now's a good time to fiddle-faddle with the backdrop. So I'll be fiddle-faddling with the backdrop. I don't know what it'll end up looking like, but right now, right now is not what it will end up looking like. And yes, and I was totally trapped in my own background, because I was leaning down off camera because my hard drive had disconnected itself from my computer, and that is where the movie was, so the movie was not able to play, and I was just like, why won't this play? Why won't this play? Figured out why it wouldn't play, went to go fix it, and my chair hit everything, and then boom, it collapsed on my head. So literally I had to like lift up the backdrop to come out from under the backdrop is what happened. That's exactly what happened. So, yeah, that was a smooth episode. It was definitely one. Yeah, it's one you want to teach a class by. Always do it like that. Yeah, or never do it like that is actually maybe the better way to put that. But you know, hey. Yeah, it was, as it happened, I was so flippin' annoyed, but at the same time, it was hysterical. So, you know, how could you not laugh, right? Right. So, let's see here. Okay, so today I went on a little holo to, hey Cindy, good to see you. We are laughing at the problems that I had yesterday on my stream that led to this new backdrop, which is not a good backdrop. Don't get me wrong. This is not how it's gonna stay. But I ran out of time to make the backdrop gooder. So because my backdrop fell over and fell apart yesterday, we've got this mess behind me today. And one day that mess will turn into a different kind of mess. And So I was just about to start this. So I'll start this and then I'll talk about what it is. Okay, so this is me today, and this is totally just a rough cut. I don't have any idea if I'm going to actually use any of these videos. Oh, I don't like how that looks. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. You don't need to see that white part. That white part was not acceptable. So yeah. So this is the beginning part of the video that I actually don't even want to show you guys. But I went the other day, I went down this dead end road that was kind of cool. But the video that I made was super crummy for a couple different reasons. One of the reasons I found out was if I remove my cell phone from my cell phone case and I put it in the cell phone holder that I have in my car and then I video it, the video vibrates a lot. But as long as I have my cell phone in the cell phone case when I video it, the image, as you can see, is a lot more stable. There's a couple other reasons why I wasn't happy with the video that I took yesterday. So today I wanted to go out and search the dead end that I found. And then I found a couple other dead ends. So I kind of like to explore the random dead ends because sometimes they end up leading you down to the beach. Now, oftentimes when they end up leading you down to the beach, you're on like a private road that you aren't technically supposed to be on. But I still like to go down them because I'm nosy like that. So, yeah, so that's what I did today. And, and Pacola T, I'm loving it. How many of us automatically looked left and right at that intersection? That is hysterical. Oh, that makes me so happy to know that. And yes, Andre, my best guess is you will recognize many of these bits of streets because Andre literally was just here a few weeks ago and he literally did stay in the heart of Burien. Now, this isn't the heart of Burien. This is sort of the semi-outskirts. But for sure, Andre has been down many, if not all, these roads. Probably not all the roads. Because some of the roads that I went down today, I'd never been down. It was just like, well, where does this go? And so this video is pretty much just like absolutely getting lost. And Andre, you hole and got lost as well, for sure. Yeah. Well, the thing is with Seattle, because there's so many hills and so many bodies of water, there's not a lot of area for pure grid, you know. And so pure grid, is what a grid is. Those kind of streets are easy to get around on. Seattle's got a lot of circular, dead-end, roundabout things, and so I've found the best way to find your way around Seattle is to just keep getting lost, and then eventually you'll get lost in a place that you're like, oh wait, I've been here before. Okay, now I know where I'm at. And then eventually all of those little puzzle pieces where you used to get lost in will eventually fit together. But because that's how you learn how to get around in Seattle, because you will get lost. The roads don't go where you think they're gonna go. I promise you, they don't. And Pacola T, you were so close. You stayed overnight in SeaTac. Yeah, dude. SeaTac is quite literally like 6 minutes away from my house. So, for better or for worse, right? Every one of my friends who has to take a flight out is like, can I park in your driveway and can you drop me off at the airport? So it's kind of a pain in the arse in that way, but I actually don't mind it that much because it is very close to my house, and I'd rather drive people to the airport in my car than help people move like I had to when I used to have a truck. And yes, Andre, we are about to go past the Airbnb, and I think we actually just went past the Airbnb that you stayed at. And this is the old town Burien, the oldest old town Burien right there that people homesteaded in. Because apparently Burien was a homestead town back in the day. I actually had no idea about that. I learned that just last night when I was hanging out at the bar down the street from my house. His great grandpa was one of the homesteaders here, and he has claims to land from like 1850 or whatever. And wow, what do you know? So let's see here. So I don't know what you guys did today or this weekend, but I just, took a Sunday drive, basically. So now you're getting to take the Sunday drive with me. There we have it. We're on a Sunday drive together. And by the way, you guys, I want to thank you guys for hanging out last night at Statterbox at the Cinema. Valley Girl was such a blast from the past for me. And even though I had seen that movie over 60 times, I caught something this viewing that I had never caught before, which was, if you watched the movie with us last night, when Nicolas Cage's character Randy is at the party and they're looking at the sushi tray, he takes a chopstick and dips it in this green paste, and he says, "This is pistachio paste, right?" And then he eats the whole glob of it. And then in the background, you see him like kind of dying, because that wasn't pistachio paste, that was wasabi. And honestly, I had never caught that little background joke until just last night. So even 60 views in, I was able to catch something new. And Pacola Tea, yeah, summer in the Pacific Northwest is so flippin' pretty. I have to say, I know that this is controversial. These are potentially fighting words. But there are some places in the Puget Sound, I think, that are prettier than some places in Hawaii. Now, let me clarify before y'all come for me, because that was fighting words. I get it. Before y'all come for me, let me say, the nicest places in Hawaii absolutely beat, hands down, the nicest places that the Pacific Northwest has. Okay? I'm not saying that Washington is nicer than Hawaii. That is not what I'm saying. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, there are some parts of the islands that aren't as pretty as some of the prettier parts of the Pacific Northwest. Now, Pacola Tea is silently agreeing, but I just said it out loud, so now it's not so silent. I know. You can come for me. I stand behind my words, but I understand if you're gonna come for me. I get it. And Kenny, be honest, was I a Valley Girl back in the day? Well, I mean, yeah and no. I wasn't a Valley Girl in the sense of fashion. I wasn't a Valley Girl in the sense of going to the mall and hanging out, buying clothes and getting my nails done. I was, a rocker goth chick from the get-go. But in regards to the language that we used, for sure, dude, that's how we talked back then. Like, for real. And I say that as someone who literally, like, dude, for sure, we said that. Would say that now today as a grown-up. I think that was part of my language pattern, right? So that the Valley speak was part of the language pattern. But in regards to, like, wearing pink or scrunchies in my hair, well, I guess actually scrunchie in my hair, I did not have Valley Girl sensibility in regards to fashion, but West Coast talk, honestly, dude, West Coast has got a little bit of surfer in it. It's got a little bit of Valley in it. It is what it is, So there you have it. There's definitely an element of Valley Girl in my history, as it were. It's just how that works. So, Andre, Andre said West Seattle is super pretty. Yes, West Seattle is super pretty. This, though, technically is still just Burien, actually. I did not leave Burien for any of this. This is all This is all the hillside of that in Burien, the hillside to the Puget Sound in town. So this is a little bit south of West Seattle. And the reason why I make the distinction is apparently West Seattle school districts are way better than the school districts in Burien. So people who live in West Seattle are always very clear that they live in West Seattle, not White Center and not Burien. Now, I think living in White Center would be considered a little bit worse than living in Burien, but from a school district perspective, it actually is a little bit better because they're still in the Seattle school district, whereas Burien is in a completely different school district entirely. So, yeah, Burien is its own city for sure. But yeah, Seahurst, Andre, this hillside is probably just to the south of the Seahurst Park that you spent time in. But it is basically the same body of water. Well, obviously the same body of water. Yeah, this is very close to where you were at. And this is a section of the drive where I literally was just like, I have no idea where I am. I have no idea where I'm going. I have no idea if this is a dead end that I'm going to have to turn around. I have no idea. As it turns out, it was not a dead end. I did not have to turn around. I just looped the way through. And I found a couple other streets that I didn't go down that I kind of want to go down. So you might have to put up with a couple YouTube videos, these coming up soon, of some random, roads that go nowhere like this, just because they're so flippin' pretty. I mean, I don't know, dude. I love driving through little forest-covered, it's like a little tunnel through the flippin' woods right there. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I think it's just really a little pretty drive. Now, before you guys get jealous and are just like, oh my God, wouldn't it be so great to have so much money that I would be able to live there? Because in a way it would be, right? Yeah, no, not at all. Because when it gets wintry and snowy out and icy, dude, these people are stuck. Because as you can see, this is on a hillside. And as you know, hills in videos you don't really get the appreciation for the grade in which you are riding on. And dude, it's a steep grade, okay? It is a steep grade. And so they're just basically stuck. They're completely stuck. And good question. So Magnolia is a different section of Seattle. Seattle basically is built on 7 different hills, and Magnolia Hill is one of them. West Seattle Hill is another. Then you've got Denny Hill, you've got First Hill, you've got Queen Anne Hill, and you've got Beacon Hill. Now, West Seattle is south of the downtown core and to the west. Magnolia is north of the downtown core and to the west. Now this is getting really esoteric, but whatever. When it comes to addressing things in Seattle, for the most part, anything that is addressed 123 52nd Avenue Southwest, that's going to be in West Seattle. If it's 123 52nd Avenue West, that's going to be in Magnolia. So Magnolia gets the west or suffix in addresses. Seattle gets the southwest suffix in the addresses. There's a lot more detail to it than that, but I'm just trying to keep it super simple for the sake of argument. But yeah, Magnolia is north of Elliott Bay. Burien is... No, Burien Well, Burien is south of Elliott Bay, but Burien doesn't touch Elliott Bay at all. West Seattle is a bit of a point, and part of West Seattle is on Elliott Bay, and then the other part of West Seattle is on the Greater Puget Sound, and then Burien would be on that Greater Puget Sound shoreline. Let's see here. Blah, blah, blah. What else was I going to say? Another thing. Okay, so another thing, Magnolia kind of like sticks out. Magnolia is kind of its own little peninsula in and of itself. It's its own little hill peninsula that sort of sticks out into the water. And then you have to pass Magnolia in order to get to this area called Ballard, and then to the University of Washington. So like, Magnolia is not north of Seattle; it's just north of the downtown core. And if I had a map ready, I'd so be showing you guys, because I love me a map. And let's see here, Andre. The whole area felt like an island, Burien, West Seattle. It actually really, it's funny you should say that. It actually really is, because, Andre, you might have gone to the tip of I know you went to the tip of West Seattle because you were on Alki Beach. There is a bridge that normally connects West Seattle to Seattle proper that is at the northern tip of West Seattle. But for the last 2 years, that bridge has been closed because the bridge is literally falling down. And so it's like unsafe to be on. So the northern route of getting to the city is closed. And so if you look at the map, you say you got a map of Seattle with one of your guidebooks. Excellent. So if you look at the map, West Seattle is a peninsula essentially that's separated from Seattle by the Duwamish Waterway, which eventually turns into the Green River, which you probably have heard of the Green River. We won't get into why you've heard of the Green River, but I'm guessing you've heard of the Green River. So basically, it's the West Seattle, White Center, Burien, and Des Moines are all, yes, that's right, Des Moines. That's how we say it here. I know. But that's how we say it here. It's just all one big it's a ridge line. It's a high line. And so it is like one island. It's completely separated from the Seattle proper on 3 sides by water. And then, and if you go further enough south where the river sort of curves in and you got land again, you're not even in, you're not even in King County anymore. So, it is absolutely an island for all intents and purposes. And so this is, Three Tree Point. This is for sure the hoitiest of toitiest of the neighborhoods that Burien has to offer. I'm sure I don't have to explain to you why. It is literally the only waterfront neighborhood in Burien. So, and are they going to rebuild the bridge? Rebuild? No. Repair? Yes. But, unfortunately, there was a concrete manufacturer's strike. So it's, they're gonna fix it one day. One day it'll be fixed. It'll be fixed one day. Can you tell how much I really want it to be fixed? It has literally screwed up traffic patterns like I can't. The last 2 years in my neighborhood have been the traffickiest traffic that ever did traffic because that stupid bridge is closed. And so I cannot wait until that bridge re-flippin' opens. And Picola Tea, yeah, way out of our price range neighborhood. Oh, dude, I couldn't even afford a lawn chair in that neighborhood, let alone let alone a house, right? You know? But Portland Cement is so close to Washington State. And we have 2 different cement manufacturers literally on the Duwamish River in Seattle. Getting the concrete isn't the problem. It's the people unwilling to cross the picket line, which I have no problem with. That's the whole deal. It's a union shop that's on strike, and it's union workers who need the materials from the union shop. And the union workers are like, no, man. If they're on strike, we're not gonna, that's our supplier. They're on strike. We're not gonna cross the picket line and get our stuff elsewhere. We're getting it from them. And if they're on strike, I guess we're gonna have to wait. And you know what? I can appreciate that. Actually, I can. But there is a cost to that. And right now, the cost is time. So, you know, time. It's passing. And let's see here. Yeah, Kenny, exactly. Who are these toity and why are they so hoity? Precisely. I mean, look at these houses. I don't know who they are, but they are, well, I can tell you this right now. They're not my neighbors. My neighbors. My neighbors don't have quite this much money. Or maybe they do, but they don't have it in their house. That's for gosh darn sure. And so yeah, I thought that I was going to be able to keep going down the road, but then I realized, oh, that's a gate. I'm in someone's driveway. I better turn around. So I decided to turn around, and this is where I turned around. Oops. And hey, Shock, good to see you. Your pipes teacher has too many muscles. Well, you know, if you start learning to do the pipes, you're going to get those muscles too. And let's see here. Pocola T, decades ago, you temped at a concrete manufacturer in the port of Tacoma. They made the Ford Island Bridge and floated the pieces across the ocean to Pearl Harbor. Pretty amazing engineering. Wow, they floated the pieces across the ocean? Dude, that's crazy. So, all right. I know that you don't know the logistics, but I'm going to... All right, so how did they do that? Was it like tugboats? Or like... I mean, I know that they didn't just like set the pieces afloat and were like, bye-bye, hope you catch the right current, right? I mean, they had vessels to guide them and to tow them there, right? Okay, I think we can all agree on that. So, but what were the vessels that towed them there? Like, were they tugboats? Were they shipping containers? Andre, no, I didn't know that they made ships with cement at one time, but that makes sense. I mean, we've got a lot of floating bridges here. I understand how you can make the cement float, but I'm sure that these were not cement boats that they made because these were the part of the bridge, so they probably needed a boat to guide them. So yeah, Pocola T, I know that you probably don't have this answer, but I'm actually really curious to know what your answer is, because that's flippin' fascinating. And so, yeah, so they were massive concrete pontoons floated and barge. Oh, okay, right, just a barge. I didn't even think about a barge. I was thinking a tugboat. But okay, yeah, the barge across. Gosh darn, dude, I don't know. That's crazy. That seems like how else could they have done it? But gosh darn it, dude. That's a big open water journey. I mean, I'm completely stating the obvious, but was that the first time that's ever been done? I know you don't know these answers, but I'm still asking you these questions, because, like, what? That's crazy. I'm sorry, I can't wrap my brain around that. Like, that is a long stretch of flipping water. And how long did it take? How many weeks to cross? I know it takes a sailboat usually a couple weeks to get from Hawaii to the mainland. And so, wow. All right, you guys, learning stuff and things. I mean, maybe I'm the only one who's learning stuff and things, but I'm learning stuff and things. And Kenny, I know you're waiting for Shock to answer, and she's gonna have to answer because I don't remember what they are. No, not bagpipes, but yes, like bagpipes. There's something different, like cerulean pipes or something like that. They're different than bagpipes, but they're like bagpipes. So yeah, but no. And that's all I'm going to tell you. And I'm waiting for Shock to come in with like the real knowledge, because she knows what she's doing way more than I know what she's doing. And, okay, so Pocola Tea, yes, it was the first time they attempted this, and it was a huge success. Millions in concrete floated across 2,500 miles. Wow, dude. Wow. That's neat. But you know, and I definitely don't expect you to know this, but I have to wonder, like, well, why couldn't they make bagpipes themselves? Like, what? Okay, not bagpipes. Sorry, just read bagpipes. Why couldn't they make the pontoons in Hawaii themselves? Like, does Hawaii not make concrete? Or I don't even really know. Actually, I have a whole lot of questions now. But basically, I guess the real question is, does Hawaii not... why did they have to outsource it so flippin' far away to get those pontoons to Hawaii? Why couldn't they have built them in Hawaii themselves? I can only assume there's a concrete manufacturing place in Hawaii. That's what I'm trying to say. Forget the bagpipes. Forget the bagpipes. Forget the bagpipes. Sorry, I'm trying to tell myself to forget the bagpipes. Cement bagpipes. That's what we're talking about now. Oh, okay. So, Andre, you're thinking bridge stuff is just made in a few places? Okay, well... Okay, I guess it would make sense then that one of those places would be Washington, because we were one of the first places to have a floating bridge, so... Okay. Okay. But... Really? Really? I feel like they could have made it there. I mean, obviously, I don't know what I'm talking about. Clearly, I don't know what I'm talking about. All right, then. Oh, and they're Ulian pipes, not cerulean pipes. Cerulean pipes, I think, would probably be, what, blue? Yeah. Oh, okay, so Pocola Tea, not enough raw material and space to produce such massive pieces. The Tacoma facility covers acres. That company manufactured monorails for Disneyland, so they do huge projects. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. Well, Andre, even the Golden Gate Bridge had the cable shipped across the country for it. Well, but, that bridge is a lot older than the bridge that Pocola Tea's talking about. I mean, or unless did they restring the did they restring the Golden Gate Bridge? So let's see, and well, can you imagine the price if they made it in Hawaii? Well, no, but I mean, can you imagine the price if they had to ship the flippin' stuff across the water in a first time ever test to see whether or not the technology can even handle that kind of crossing? There's just, I mean, obviously they can and they did and they whatever, but, it just seems like a massive gamble. It seems like a massive gamble. And, Pocola Tea, so the monorail that's still in progress, that we won't go there. Well, I'm going to go there because I feel like, aren't they almost running now? Like limited. I mean, they might not be running, real life people, but like they've got trains on the tracks, I think now. And they're like test running it in spots, aren't they? Or did I feel like I'm not making that up. I feel like I saw Carol on Facebook post a picture about it, but I might be making that up. And let's see here. Yeah, exactly. And those are some hefty strings. And Kenny, it's not just a matter of having access to concrete. Bridge component engineering and manufacturing is way complex. Okay, all right, fine. I'll give them that. Like, be smart and stuff. So yeah, okay. And let's see here. Oh, there's test runs of the monorail, but it's not finished by a long shot and problems with the wheels and the rails. Well, now, okay, so I guess this leads me to a question here that didn't occur to me. So, are they planning on... Okay, so the Seattle monorail, excuse me, not the monorail, the light rail that we've got going through it started at the airport. The project started at the airport, and then it moved north slowly through downtown, and it moved south slowly to connect with Tacoma, and it is slow. It has now since moved past downtown, and it's on the verge of being like in the next county. However, the light rail is functional. They're using it as they're building it. So each section, like, I think you can only take the light rail up to the Linwood Mall, or not the Linwood Mall, the Northgate Mall. And then the rail is still being built further north of that. But, and similar to, it's still being built further south to Tacoma. But the parts that are done, like, they're still sending, you can use it now. I mean, only for, 50 miles, but you can use it. So are they, gonna wait until the whole stretch is functional before they start running people on it? Or are they gonna start to use it increment by increment as the rail and stops get built and ready? Andre, thank you so much for gifting Cindy Krause a gift there. Gift sub, excuse me. So let's see here. I know what you just wrote. I know what I'm reading, and I know what everybody else is reading as well, but I'm going to read it out loud. The wheels and the rails are not quite compatible. What? Who made that decision? I mean, that is the right hand not knowing what the left hand is doing. No, flip it. Okay, you know what? All right. I have spent a lot of time and energy trying to convince people in Hawaii that you're going to love the rail when it gets there. The rail is going to be awesome. You're going to like it. I know you don't like it now, but you're going to like it when it works, when it happens. Okay, never mind. Never mind. I take everything back. I take it all back. No wonder you guys are so flippin' annoyed at this project. Are you kidding me? They got a bunch of discount rails and I got a bunch of discount wheels. They didn't bother to see if they worked together or something. What? I can't even, I mean, honestly, whose fault is that? Like, that has to, you've got to be able to, who okayed what design that decided, like, whose engineering problem and fault was that? Because that, no, somebody needs to say, yeah, it was me, I need to be fired, I'm stupid like that, or something, I don't know, but that, whose fault was that? That's dumb. Yeah, and I suppose any mistakes or problems with design will take extra long time to change. Yeah, and I understand that design problems happen. For instance, I-5 at Tacoma is in a constant state of being remodeled and redesigned. And in the latest remodel and design of it, with the interchange, Highway 16 I-5 interchange, it's a very complicated, noodle bowl of on-ramps and off-ramps, right? Well, they built you know, they were building from one end as they were building from another end, and then they were supposed to like connect in the middle, you know? But then as they got closer to connecting, they realized, oh, dude, we're like a quarter mile off. The two roads were going to connect a quarter mile away from each other. That doesn't connect. And that was funny to a degree. It was also not funny to a degree. But that is a human error that you can kind of see how that would happen. To me, I can chalk that up to somebody read a map wrong or something. But the whole wheels and rails thing, I mean, that's the whole, like, that's the technology that we're talking about here. We're talking about wheels on rails. That's the technology. And you didn't think that the wheels and the rails should maybe be able to talk to one another? Okay. Yeah. And it's a never-ending cycle of mistakes, followed by hiring consultants to study the problems, followed by successions, local government administrations, and so on. Wow. Yeah. Okay. You know, I admit I had huge hopes. Oh, wait. Whoops. Sorry. Didn't mean to make you stare at that back of that car for God only knows how long. I had huge hopes for that rail system in Hawaii. I mean, I still do, sort of. Okay, no. I have tiny hopes. Tiny hopes. But yeah, all right. I was wrong. I was wrong. You guys be fed up with it. Be fed up with it. That's so stupid. Are you kidding me? The wheels don't match the rails. I don't know. I think we're done here. The wheels don't match the rails. What more can you do? Oh, all right then. I'm feeling so sad, and yet I'm feeling, yeah, there you go. Yeah, see, okay, so Andre's saying that BART, the Bay Area Rapid Transit, is doing similar to what the Seattle light rail is, which is, you know, they're functional and then they keep expanding and tacking on to the end. And so now BART goes all the way north to San Jose, which is awesome. That's pretty far north. That's super awesome. I would like to think that it helps with the traffic in the Bay Area, but that's so funny. There's nothing that can help the traffic in the Bay Area because there's just too much traffic in the Bay Area. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, and where, yeah, proper gauge between track and wheel trucks on trains is the whole concept of train engineering. Full stop. What the heck? Yeah, exactly. And Cindy Krause, yeah, you live in a super tiny town. No rails, just donkeys and horses. All right, fair enough. But at least you know that the donkeys and the horses are compatible with the turf on which they ride. Right? The horses have the right shoes. The donkeys have the right shoes. Do donkeys wear shoes? I mean, not wear shoes. Well, do they? Let's see. You know what I'm trying to ask, right? Like, do you put horseshoes on donkeys? Okay, so, I guess by definition, if they're horseshoes, maybe they're not for donkeys, but I feel like they've got the same, need. Wow, words are hard. I'm really glad you guys know exactly. Hoof. There we go. Picola Tea. Thank you. Yes, thank you. They have the same hoof. Yes, the same need. So glad you guys can read my made-up sign language. Yeah, there you go. And Cindy is saying, yes, they do have shoes like horses. Excellent. I had no idea. Learning stuff every day. What do you know? And if it carries weight, it needs to have shoes. Well, I don't really know necessarily if it carries weight, it needs to have shoes, because I've seen plenty little ponies that, Oh, hold on, wait. I was just about to say something that didn't make sense. I've seen plenty of little ponies that needed hoof care, but now that I think about it, they just needed their hooves trimmed. They didn't necessarily need to have shoes. So I guess now my next question is, do the tiny baby little ponies, well, not the baby ponies, you know, the miniature horses, not baby horses, but actual miniature horses, ponies, which I think we've already talked about, do they have to wear shoes? And Kenny, mule shoes, they're smaller. Totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. And frankly, I would have been kind of confused if you guys were like, heck no, they don't need shoes. Because then I would have had a whole other set of questions. But I never thought about mules or donkeys needing shoes before, mostly because I don't spend a lot of time with mules or donkeys. Now, I do spend some time with jackasses, but that's a completely different species. And Anne says, yes, the minis do get shoes. Oh, okay. So, but the minis, though, they don't generally carry a lot of weight. Like, they don't carry, I mean, other than their own weight. So I guess that's enough weight. But yeah, I don't think you need, like, shoes. I don't think just because you carry weight, you need shoes. I think that if you're just, you know, hoofing it, you need the shoes, right? Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about, clearly. Ooh, hey C Honda, good to see you. I am doing better today. We got to see all of the, we earlier talked about how I wasn't feeling better this week because, well, you know, the cat bite and getting actual sick from it. It was very bizarre, but I am super better now. And now we're pondering things like, do miniature horses and ponies wear shoes? Yes, they do. Do donkeys wear horse shoes? Sort of. They're called mules. Mule shoes. And then Picola T is coming in with a really good question. Why do we call some people's shoes mules? I don't know. I do know what type of shoe you're talking about. I had a pair. It was one of my favorite, most comfortable pairs. I bought them when I was in Boston, Massachusetts. And when I came home with my super comfy pair of shoes, they were mules. My boyfriend at the time said, those are the ugliest shoes I've ever seen in my life. I don't ever want to see you wearing them again, which was kind of a problem because they were the most comfy shoes in the world and I kind of wanted to wear them everywhere. Oh, yeah, so there. If they walk on paved surfaces, you think they might need shoes as well? Well, yeah, although those are a different kind of shoes than the shoes that you use for pavement walking is different than the shoes that you use for general horse stuff. I do know that. I used to live with a blacksmith, which is one reason why I know that. So let's see here. Picola T, hello mules, goodbye boyfriend. Yeah, we were already kind of on the way out anyway, so it really wasn't that big of a deal. But yeah, it was definitely just like, well, if I have to pick, I'm picking the shoes. So, And let's see here. Anne is saying that many minis have problems with their legs, and shoes are often the orthopedic type to correct leg deformities. Oh, I did not know that. Awesome. See? All right. Learning more things and stuff. Is it things and stuff that'll matter in your life that you need to know? Probably not. But, you know, if you're ever at a bar night with trivia, you might come away because you're a listener, chatter with statter, and you know a whole lot about a whole lot of nothing. And knowing a whole lot about a whole lot of nothing might win you a big prize at a bar night, a little trivia night. That's about all I can maybe promise for you guys out of this stream. It's like, you might do good on a trivia. You might, best case scenario is on NPR's Wait, Don't Tell Me, you'll be a star. But chances are we won't have anything that smart. We're not going to talk about anything that smart. Not if NPR talks about it. Let's see. So, all right. So, I have not played our traditional daily little Lono tune. So why don't I play this Evie song called Wonderful Life, and we can continue to talk about mini horses and their little orthopedic shoes, because it sounds so cute, even though maybe it's not. All right, there we have our little Lono break. So thank you guys so much for all those bits that you were throwing down. Good to see you, Vanilla Coke Pepsi. No worries that you are late. Today we were just talking about orthopedic shoes for horses. And let's see, what else were we talking about? Honestly, I don't really remember anything else besides the orthopedic shoes for horses. And we weren't talking about orthopedic shoes for horses the whole time, but that seemed to be, what stuck in my head. Oh, also we talked about bagpipes, and we talked about bridges, and we talked about cement, and we talked about getting lost on dirt roads, dead ends and dust in Burien. That's right, there we have it. So So if there's one thing that I'm good at, it is getting lost. So so that is definitely something that we talked about here. And yeah, concrete floating bridges. Exactly. That's what we talked about. Oh, and we talked about whether or not Magnolia was north of Seattle or south of Seattle. It is north. And whether or not West Seattle is north of Seattle or south of Seattle. What? But isn't it west of Seattle? Yes, it is, but it's also south. So there you go. Oh, yes, that's right. Oh, hey, Vanilla Coke Pepsi, you're going back to your full-time job tomorrow, unfortunately, but still. Well, you know, you get some change in your pocket. What is your full-time job? Just out of curiosity. I know my full-time job is managing a tax and accounting office, and I'm pretty sure your full-time job is not that. So tell me what you do. Tell me a little bit about it. Tell me all about it. And while I'm waiting for you to tell me all about it, I am going to share with you some super bummin' news. So, you see this little guy right here? Yeah, that's right. He's my little Zippy's Yum Boy emote. And I stole my Zippy's Yum Boy emote from a local business called Zippy's Giant Burgers. You might have heard me talk about Zippy's Giant Burgers. In fact, I think I did an entire stream about Zippy's Giant Burgers and the owner and his current YouTube channel and his past lives as a husband of a roller derby founder and as a rock star in a band called The Accused, etc., etc. All about Zippy's and how much Zippy's belongs to the white center West Seattle culture. And unfortunately, today was the last day that Zippy's was open. And on Friday, I believe, yes, this was the line outside of Zippy's to get in to order because everybody was super bummed when they found out that Zippy's was closing. Now, why is Zippy's closing? If this many people love Zippy's so flippin' much, why on earth would Zippy's be closing? Well, let me just tell you right now, a 67% per month rent increase had nothing to do with it. Rest assured. Seriously, guys, 67% rent increase in 1 month. What the landlords wanted right away. So, yeah, 67% rent increase, and there was other issues as well. But basically, the landlords were not communicative or helpful in regards to negotiating how this 67% increase is gonna, take into take place. So, yeah. So the owners decided it was time to call it a day. And so after 14 years of being in the West Seattle White Center area, the community, as you can see, the community loves Zippy's. The community loves Zippy's so much, but alas, the landlords not so much. And can they look for another location? Yes and no. There's a lot of it's very complicated, and basically the current owners decided we're done with this. Now, this is where it's a little bit annoying. From what I understand, and this is all scuttlebutt, do not quote me, but from what I understand, the current owners actually found new owners that were willing to deal with the rent increase. And the new owners wanted to keep the business and the crew exactly as it is because it's a successful business. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But the landlords refused to negotiate or even acknowledge the potential new owners. So, after so many months of the landlords not responding to any communication, they were forced to close because they couldn't. There's a whole lot of other stuff going on. And where did the landlords want to sell the land to develop it for a huge sum? Good question. The landlords right now are in the middle of a divorce to add complications into the matter. So, there's that. And as someone who's lived in the neighborhood as long as I've lived in the neighborhood, I don't really know what the landlords are thinking. Unless they are thinking of tearing the building down and selling it, redeveloping it or whatever. But the building location as it currently is, that particular spot that Zippy's is in has been 3 different restaurants in the past 20 years. And Zippy's was one of them for the last 12 years. The other 2 restaurants, they couldn't make it to save their life. It's a really crummy location. It really is a crummy location. And Zippy's made it work. So I just have to wonder what these people are thinking. Like, every restaurant that was in that spot before failed within 2 years. 3 years, I think, was the longest. And then Zippy's comes in and has a 12-year run with no problem. I just don't know what I don't know what the landlords are thinking, but I can only assume that they must they must have plans for the building otherwise, because as the building currently stands, it just doesn't make sense to kick out literally Zippy's is like the cornerstone business of the entire business complex. They've got the largest square footage, and then one of the other businesses in that complex actually openly admits that most of their business comes from Zippy's customers. So the moment Zippy's closes, chances are the dog washing place is going to close too. And so pretty soon you're going to have a completely empty storefront area except for this one spiritual center down at the end. And so I just historically speaking, that location has never worked very well for a restaurant. And it's a restaurant location. It's got a kitchen. It's a restaurant. And so I just don't get it. Like, why are you killing your golden goose? That's all it's like, you're killing your golden goose. Why are you killing your golden goose? That makes no sense. But there you go. And Vanilla Coke Pepsi. People don't think things through when they get married. Holy flirking snit. Truer words never spoken, my friend. I can't tell you how many people I have counseled in my tax office who literally, it didn't occur to them. I just got married to my husband, and he's got, his wages are getting garnished for child support and blah, 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 blah. And why does that affect my taxes? Well, because it's a community property state, and you married some loser dude who's got, whose wages are getting garnished and whatever. Of course it's going to affect your life. What were you thinking? You're 2 people becoming 1 unit. Everything's going to get combined. Did you not know this? If you did not know this, why did you go do this? But, people don't know what they don't know. And then they get all annoyed when they find out what they should have known. But yeah, you are correct, my friend. Lots of people do not think when they are getting married. Yeah, there we go. So Anne says, if they're dividing their assets, I bet one or both will forfeit the highest sale price, which might be to developers. Possibly. I think it's more convoluted than that, from what I've heard, but I've only heard enough to know that I don't know the whole story. I do know that there's a divorce involved. Other than that, I don't know. But I did hear scuttlebutt, and once again, obviously not anything that is remotely true to happening, but I did hear some scuttlebutt that there might be a food truck maybe later. So Zippy's might not die, per se, but even in food truck form, it's just not going to be the same. Part of the Zippy's experience was, their cooler full of random obscure bottled soda, their pinball machines, their funky art, their collection of hamburger fast food memorabilia like nobody's business. In fact, I kind of wonder what's going to happen to the collection of memorabilia that's in the restaurant, because the restaurant is covered with memorabilia, from McDonald's to Burger King to A&W to it's covered with burger memorabilia from all sorts of defunct, stands, and like super old, like 1967 McDonald's toy figurines, and, just things and stuff, right? And where exactly? Not the pinball. Yeah, they had 3 or 4 pinball machines, and luckily pinball is very popular in Seattle, so it's not like it's going to be that hard to find a place to do pinball. Full Tilt Ice Cream Shop, which serves beer and ice cream. They have a large pinball selection, so, it is, pinball's not hard to come by, but at the same time, you can't have a pinball machine with a food truck, right? Right. And I know, right? Exactly. And, beer and ice cream? I like both, but not together. Yeah, right. I'm right there with you. Picola T, now you're craving a burger. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. You should be lucky, actually, because I was looking for the pictures that I had of all the Zippy's burgers, because when I first talked about Zippy's, I showed a bunch of different Zippy's burgers, and I have them somewhere on my system, but I could not find them in time for the show. So just be lucky that I did not find the burger pictures, because if I had those burger pictures, you would be hungry for a burger for sure. And Shock, you just might kill for a burger. The brew house is closed when you got back, so a can of tuna for dinner. Oh, that's not good. That's not good at all. And Andre, you've got a pinball museum in Alameda. That's awesome. Now, your pinball museum, the pinball museum in Seattle, I like the pinball museum in Seattle a lot. Other people who play pinball really well do not, because, and here's my question for you. In Seattle, when you go to the pinball museum, you pay a certain amount of money. I'm going to say $10. I don't know if it is, but you pay $10 to get in, and then all of the games are free. And I like that because I'm really crappy at pinball. And so I would easily go through $10 worth of quarters playing pinball anyway. Probably more. Now, my pinball playing friends who are super good at pinball, they don't like to go to the Seattle Pinball Museum because it's too expensive, because they play well enough that they wouldn't go through $10 worth of quarters for a night hanging out at the pinball place. So I'm just curious, the Alameda one, do you pay a fee to get in and the games are free, or do you have to pay per game? I don't know why that was so difficult to come out of my mouth, but there you go. Vanilla Cocassi, you've never played pinball. It's kind of fun, dude. Like, honestly, I feel like you should maybe go seek one out one day and go give her a whirl. Now, I'm a big fan personally of the really old school ones, the ones from like the 50s, the ones that don't have a lot of bells and whistles. Sometimes those ones are actually a little harder than the ones that are the fanciest, with the multi-levels and the big multi-ball and the big mouth that you've got to get it into, and the ramps and the twirly curlies or whatever. But those ones are fun too. Don't get me wrong. But Vanilla Coke Pepsi, one day, you don't have to do it tomorrow. You don't even have to do it 5 years from now. But one day, I'd like you to play a pinball game. At least one. So let's see here. The bucket list. Going to the Pinball Museum in Alameda is one of your is on your bucket list. They have a giant collection of vintage machines. Yeah, the one in Seattle does too. So if you ever make it to Seattle, I would love to take you to the pinball machine in the International District. It's a great. Actually, it's. Coolest thing about the pinball museum, in my opinion, is so I dated this guy, right? Same guy who didn't like the mules on my feet. He didn't like the mule shoes, right? But he took me to this restaurant in the International District in Seattle that had the best wonton soup I have ever had in my flippin' life. I mean, it was the stuff that dreams are made of. I thought about that soup literally for 15 years. And I couldn't for the life of me remember what the restaurant's name was. And there's so many authentic Chinese food restaurants in the International District that, trust me, I wouldn't have been able to. Anyway, I go to the Pinball Museum and I go down the block. I come out of the Pinball Museum and I go down the block, and there it is. It's right next door to the Pinball Museum, the Honey Court, the restaurant with the soup. The restaurant with the soup. And so yeah, I love the Seattle Pinball Museum for reasons other than pinball, as it turns out. Yes. And let's see here. Vanilla Coke Pepsi, pinball is so hard to find. Yeah, probably in your area. But once you start going to bars, now obviously I can't say what bars are in your area and what bars and what things are popular in Canada. But pinball is a pretty popular bar game in the Seattle area, at least. So once you get old enough to go to bars, you might run across more pinball than you're used to. So let's see here. Anne's saying that in her area, there's a place called Can Wonderland that has vintage and newer pinball, along with all kinds of arcade games. So fun, but the digital card pay system is not great. Yeah, no, and that's what I like about the Seattle Pinball Museum is, for someone like me who doesn't play really well, like $10, it's a lot of bang for your buck, right? So there you go. And let's see here. Yeah, and where? So maybe this is something that is sort of a Seattle thing that is growing elsewhere. Because see, Seattle actually has like pinball leagues, competition leagues, and they've got their own like pinball magazine and everything. So pinball culture in Seattle is actually kind of a thing. And so it sounds like maybe it's getting to be kind of a thing in other places too. Because, yeah, pinball bars are totally, as Anne says, becoming more and more popular. Yeah, well, they're not becoming more and more popular over here. They've always been popular here. And so I'm super stoked to hear that the trend is maybe expanding. And oh my God, Anne, you have 3 pinball machines? You own 3 pinball machines? What ones? Tell me what ones. What ones do you own? And yes, Vanilla Coke Pepsi vinyl is more popular than CDs right now, which I can appreciate and I cannot appreciate. Vinyl sounds better than CDs, without a doubt. It's got a warmer tone, but vinyl is so heavy and it's so big and it's so fragile that I kind of like CDs better. That's just how that goes. So it sounds like Shock might know one of them, which is Hawaii Surfing Pinball. But maybe that's just a guess and she's making fun of Anne. Never heard of that. Vanilla Coke Pepsi vinyl is more expensive. Yes, that is, well, it is and it isn't. It depends on what kind of vinyl you're using. Like if you're doing the 180 gram pressings, absolutely, it's more expensive. But you can get some pretty flimsy vinyl. And back at the end of, okay. So the vinyl that you're getting now that might be of new albums that are coming out on vinyl, that's going to be a way higher quality vinyl than the vinyl that they used to make albums out of at the tail end of when vinyl was popular. Because like in the 80s, when people were buying cassette tapes and then CDs, vinyl was still around, but it was getting to be shoddier and shoddier quality, thinner and thinner wax, basically. They've got way better quality ones now. And so I'm not at all surprised that people prefer the sound, because the good quality vinyl is just a lovely experience. And so Anne is saying, so I own Hawaii from 1947, surfer from 1976, and a very old 33 World's Fair. Dude, oh, those are awesome. Now, are they working? Do they work? Like, do you have all the solenoids and the little lights and flashings? Or are they a basket case, or do they actually work? Because that is super awesome. I'm like kind of jealous. And shock, I have watched vinyl being pressed, and press is a euphemism. Slammed should be the word. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, totally. Let's see here. Yeah, right, Andre. You would Andre's saying that Anne would never get us out of your house. Yeah, if they work, that could be a bit of a problem. Like, no, Anne, just one more game, Auntie Anne. One more game. Oh, dude, they work and you maintain them yourself. Fantastic. Nice. So you've gone down that little rabbit hole online for all the solenoids and the little whatevers and the fuses and the this. I've got a couple friends that restore old ones, so I have a vague idea of how impressed I should be that A, they work, and B, you maintain them. There we go, because that is impressive. So now I have to go visit Anne. Okay, you guys. Everybody show up at Anne's house at 10 a.m. tomorrow. We're going to ditch school. And we're going to go play pinball. Her mom won't mind because her mom's going to go to work. That's what we're going to do. We're going to ditch school and play pinball at Anne's house. So everybody just meet on her front porch at 10 a.m. Her mom will be at work by then. It'll all be good. We can sneak in. I'll get you the address. I'll write you the address after class. There we have it. That's the plan for tomorrow. We're gonna skip school, ditch school, and bring a hot dish. It's not a hot plate, it's a hot dish, Andre. It's a hot dish. Yes, pinball tournament in the basement. There we go. But see, it doesn't matter, C. Honda. She probably has it set so you don't have to have the quarters. Or she's got it set so all you need is one, and then it pops out, and then you put it back in, right? All right, fine, Shock. You'll miss out. You're gonna miss out. You're gonna miss out. We'll tell you all about it. You're not gonna be the winner of the tournament, though. All right, then, you guys. It is 10 minutes past the bottom of the hour, which means we've gone over. But when we're talking about pinball, I get a little excited. So sorry about babble, and thanks so much for putting up with me. And I hope to see you guys next Wednesday, 5 p.m. West Coast time on Chatter with Statter. But honestly, I'd rather see you Tuesday, 6 p.m. West Coast time, 3 p.m. Hawaii time on Daily Pigeon Live, when Andy finally shows his face again. Now, I've heard that he's got a special announcement. I have no idea what that special announcement is, but I'm super stoked for it anyway. So, I hope to see you guys on Tuesday. If I don't see you on Tuesday, I definitely hope to see you on Wednesday. And remember, we're going to ditch school tomorrow and play pinball hooky at Anne's house. That's right. All right, then. So glad that everybody could hang out in the Statterverse. Thanks so much, Picola T, for hanging out. I'm so glad you were here. Looks like maybe the only way we get to have Picola T hang out is when she's on quarantine house arrest. But I'm super glad that you were able to join us while on your quarantine house arrest. And get better soon. Andre, get better soon. Picola T. And like I said, I'll see you guys soon. Take care.